children have been forcibly taken from their parents after a policy shift was put into action last month by US Attorney General and least fun thing to find in a Kinder Egg, Jeff Sessions. Sessions basically started a policy of incarcerating people who cross the border illegally, knowing full well that that incarceration would mean they were separated from their children, many of whom are less than 10 years old, with no clear plan as to when they might be reunited. And that is objectively awful, and yet Trump inexplicably argued that Sessions had no choice.
He's following laws, very simply, that were given to us and forced upon us by the Democrats.
But there's no law that says orders have to be separated at the border.
The Democrats gave us the laws. Now, I want the laws to be beautiful, humane, but strong.
OK, so first, beautiful, humane, but strong? That is not how you describe a law. That's how you describe a Viola Davis character in a movie called It Hasn't Even Been Written Yet, but You'll Still Win the Oscar. Also, Democrats did not give them these laws because, and I cannot stress this enough, there is no law that suddenly required separating parents from their children. This was the result of a deliberate policy choice by Jeff Sessions, a man so small he can wear, and this is true, a raspberry as a hat. That's a fact. And it's a little weird that Trump tried to distance himself from this decision because Sessions doubled down on Thursday, saying that this command came right from the very top.
I would cite you to the Apostle Paul and his clear and wise command in Romans 13 to obey the laws of the government because God has ordained the government for his purposes.
So again, it's not a law, and also the Bible isn't a government document. From a policy perspective, he might as well be citing Green Eggs and Ham, saying, we must keep children in a box, we must keep them with a fox, which would be a terrible policy, especially depending on the height of the fox. Children should be kept away from foxes above a certain height because they're very weird and scary. Hashtag no tall foxes. And Romans 13 is possibly the worst Bible passage to bring up, since it was regularly invoked in Civil War times by defenders of slavery. And I know that you're probably thinking, wait, he wouldn't align himself with slave owners, even accidentally. Not Jefferson Beauregard Sessions of Alabama. Well, I'm sorry, but he did. And when Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked about Sessions' Bible defense, she backed him up.
I can say that it is very biblical to enforce the law. That is actually repeated a number of times throughout the Bible.
So, A, not a fucking law. And B, lots of things are said in the Bible, but that doesn't mean you should do them. At one point, the Bible demands that the head of government get 100 foreskins, but I don't think that Sanders is looking for Congress to gather together and start slicing dicks. And the Trump administration might want to go a little easy on holding the Bible up as a moral code, because let's remember, the Bible is not a big fan of adultery, gluttony, coveting your neighbour's wife, pride, or wrath. What I'm saying here is, you probably shouldn't use the Bible to justify separating children from parents, but if you do, maybe make sure that you're not already breaking so many of its rules that God has to write an extra commandment that says, I was fucking serious. And now, this.
And now, Senator Chuck Schumer is caught in an endless graduation speech time loop.
When I was seated at college graduation, I had just learned that I had won a scholarship to travel all around the world. At the same time, I had met a girl and I fell in love. And I was torn. Do I go around the world on the all-expense-paid scholarship for a whole year? Or do I stay home with the girl, my first true love? Class of 2018, what would you have done? Class of 2017, class of 2016, 2015, 2014, 13, 12, 11, 2005. What would you have done? I stayed home with the girl. She dumped me before Labor Day. There I was. No scholarship. No trip around the world. No girl. No girl. Girl. No girl. But somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again. Found myself seated at graduation once again. Once again. Once again. Once again. Once again. When I was seated at college graduation, I had just learned that I'd won a scholarship to travel all around the world. All around the world.